As a coursebook writer whose books are often marketed and sold as being examples of British English, and as a speaker of what's often known as British English, being someone who's spent most of their life living and working in London and the southeast of England, I'm often asked when I'm out and about meeting teachers and talking at conferences, what do I think of American English? And often it's asked in this sort of sly, slightly sneaky way, the same way that white taxi drivers will often ask me when they see the area I live in, what's it like living round here? When I know that really what they want me to say is, oh, there's lots of immigrants. And, it's not a conversation I want to have, given that I'm married to an immigrant. And my feeling a lot of the time when people ask me, what do you think of American English, is that the subtext is, come on, let me share my feelings about what a sort of vulgar bastardization of the original pure English that you speak, American English, is. I usually disappoint these people intentionally because my answer is always, what do I think of American English? Well, it depends who's speaking it. Because in the end, what I listen to is not someone's accent or someone's choice of vocabulary even. It's what the person is actually saying. And some speakers of what's sometimes called American English can be quite repellent to listen to. Others can be quite, captivating and enchanting to listen to. What worries me about the question is that hidden within it is this idea of linguistic purity. And as someone who's got what might be seen as a slightly lower class accent myself, I've been the victim here in England of linguistic snobbery and accent snobbery. When I first started out as a conference speaker, a blog post was written about me saying, I cannot believe that someone with Hugh Deller's diction has been allowed to rise to such heights within the profession, with the implication being that peasants like me should know our place and not pretend that we're somehow articulate and intelligent when we deliver our English in an accent that has traces of our geographical roots. I think on top of all of this, there's also the issue of teachers and students often saying to me that they want a British accent or they want an American accent, as though there is one thing which is a British accent. Having travelled the width and breadth of the length and breadth of the British Isles, I can officially report there is no such thing as a British accent. There are countless different British accents, countless different English accents, and it's highly unlikely that any of your students are ever going to achieve those particular accents unless for some particular reason they spend a large amount of time living in a particular environment. So just to give a couple of examples, both of them involving people called Peter, weirdly. I've got a Polish friend called Piotr, and the first time I met him, I couldn't tell if he was a Pole who'd spent a lot of time living in Manchester or a Mancunian who had second or third generation Polish roots, because he spoke like that, like he had this kind of like northwestern accent. Last week in Bern, I met a Swiss German guy called Peter, who had this very strange accent that was about 80% Scottish, strong Scottish, and about 20% Swiss German. It turned out he was a Swiss German who'd spent a lot of time living up in Scotland. And I think this is what we often forget about accents. The accents that we end up with, that all of us end up with, our students end up with, are a reflection of our own stories, of our own geographical histories, of our own wanderings and our own interactions, and maybe in some rare cases of our own longings. I once had a Japanese student who'd never been to Liverpool, but had a sort of semi-Liverpudlian accent because she spent a lot of time watching interviews with Steven Gerrard, the former Liverpool captain that she was in love with. But I think this idea of there being one accent that, we should somehow encourage our students to aspire to is slightly mad, I have to say. Finally, another thought about the British English, American English thing is those dreadful lessons that course books still impose upon students, where you waste an hour of your life worrying about whether it's called a pavement or a sidewalk, or whether you pronounce it aluminium or aluminum. And some communicative benefit of all of this is nothing. I mean, at the end of this one lesson, you can point at things and go, lift, or elevator, but it doesn't actually help you talk about anything. It doesn't boost your communicative competence. So if you do encounter me at a conference, please don't ask me what I think of American English. Thank you very much for watching.